So today I'm working on cutting some laminate countertops to fit into our camper. We're gonna replace the countertops in there. And I'm working my way up. I've done this before in the garage where it doesn't really matter if you mess it up a little bit. Now I've got the camper going here, and then eventually, hopefully, I'll work my way up to being brave enough to do this in the house DIY. The first thing you wanna worry about when you're cutting laminate with a circular saw is your blade. Most of you probably have a common blade like this in here that's really good for, cutting normal everyday cuts. When you're doing delicate work like this, you want to have something that's fine-toothed. So this 60-tooth blade that's good for plywood and things like that will give you a much better finished surface when you cut through this. I'll link to the one that I used in the description below. So I'm going to mark my dimensions here on the face of this laminate. We're cutting to 54 inches, so I'm just going to mark it here. And it's just got to be in the general vicinity, because what we're doing is we're making a spot for our blue painter's tape to come in here. And what this does is it helps to stop the laminate from chipping. We're going to cut through the back side of this laminate countertop. So now I've got this flipped over. I'm going to mark those same 54.5-inch dimensions on the back side. And I'll use my square right here to make sure this is a nice 90-degree cut. So next I'm going to set up some blocking. It'll act as a guide. And basically what I'm going to do is set up the blade right on the line that I marked. And then I'm going to drop this guard down as low as I can. And then line this piece up with that blade guard. And then I will clamp it down. I like to do it on this side of the saw so that this doesn't get in the way when you're making your cut. I'm just going to make sure I have the same distance here on this side. And we'll clamp that in place as well. And make sure your saw is not plugged in for any of this part here. You don't want to have some kind of accident. But after I've got this thing blocked in there, I'm just going to roll the saw along the line here, make sure that everything seems to line up. Kind of a practice for when I make this cut. That's off just a touch. I think I'm gonna move this out just a little bit. It's kind of a critical step. Make sure you get this straight and accurate the way you want it. That looks better. I'm going to set my blade depth here on the circular saw to make sure that I've got enough to get through all of this countertop. Now my laminate doesn't have a built-in backsplash like you see on some of the ones that you buy at the big box stores. But if you did, you just continue this blocking right back up that side. And when you come through with your cut, you'd go right over the top of that and just roll your saw back down the other side. Now I've only got 2 sawhorses, and when I cut this laminate, I don't really want it to just drop. So I've rigged up this little step thing in my case for my circular saw, and hopefully that'll catch the end of this so that this, when this cut goes through, it doesn't snap off. And now for the moment of truth. Now for the moment of truth. Nope, Still not yet. And now for the moment of truth. Get some focus here. Yeah. It's a nice clean cut. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Next up for me is cutting a hole for the sink. So if that's the next project for you as well, take a look at this video right down here.